Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be riding the Himalayan 450 through the stunning landscapes of Montenegro. I'll be sharing my thoughts on how it handles long journeys, a lot of green lane riding, and what the overall ride experience is like. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, then stick around. So this video is a bit different to most Himalayan 450 reviews. For starters, this wasn't a press bike, and I wasn't on a Royal Enfield launch, and I didn't just poodle down a few country lanes. As you will see, I really got to know the bike and put it through its paces. I got invited to fly out to Montenegro with my friend and fellow biker Jodie to meet up with Alan, Lily and Chris for an epic motorcycle venture with Wild Sharpas Motorcycle Tours. Wild Sharpas invited Jodie and me to document the incredible tours through content and photography, and just as importantly to dive headfirst into the adventure and experience everything Montenegro has to offer.
I'm an adventure. I'm a photographer.
If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know we had an amazing time. The group we joined was such a lovely bunch, and I'll be sharing more about the trip itself in another video very soon.
This is like that. Ta-da!
After riding the Himalayan, or Himalayan 450, solidly for 3 days over all kinds of terrain and covering a big chunk of Montenegro, I figured now's the perfect time to give you my honest thoughts on how this bike performs as a proper adventure bike. I should start by saying that the bikes were bought from Cooperb Motorcycles in Northamptonshire. Before shipping the bikes off to Montenegro, they changed the tyres from the stock tyres to the Heidenauer K60 Scout, which apparently offers something a bit better suited for the Montenegro tours, with a 60% focus for road and 40% off-road biased. They also fitted handguards and pannier rails. When I was handed the keys to the bike, I didn't get much of a chance to poke around and explore the rider modes. I was straight into shooting photos and quickly throwing some clothes into the panniers, and off we went in a group of 5 bikes. At first, I was a bit underwhelmed by the power, but to be fair, I'd just been riding my Triumph Speed Triple 1050S around the country lanes of Essex just a few days earlier, which is a bit of a hooligan bike. That said, it didn't take too long before I realised just how easy the Himalayan is to ride and how much fun it was to ride. It also didn't take too long before we encountered some dirt, and I got the sense that this bike was going to handle uneven terrain without too many issues. Little did I know then that I was really going to test the bike off-road before too long. In fact, let's jump to that part now, shall we? After a couple of hours of riding and getting used to the bikes, we stopped for a quick refreshment break, soaking up the sun and admiring the views. Soon after, we were back on the bikes, riding along winding roads and stunning coastal routes, which were absolutely brilliant. At one point, we found ourselves on a dirt path, and I figured it was just a fun little off-road detour. But Jeffrey from Wild Sharpas had other ideas. He asked if we fancied really going off-road. Of course, I was in.
Do you want to go in front of me? No, I'll go to the back.
Now Jodie is one heck of a rider. Incidentally, her daily bike is a custom Z1000. Now we were continually chatting to each other through the trip using the Cardo Pack Talk Edge. Again, More about Cardo in another video. Jodie was a little anxious when she first saw the path, as it had been a while since she's done any off-road riding. But nothing stops Jodie, and within minutes her confidence in riding off-road had been restored, and so had mine. We certainly had to concentrate and put our skills to the test, but the Himalayan just loved the terrain and had no problem getting us to the top and back down again. The Himalayan really shone on the rough stuff. It climbed, it gripped, and it just kept going, like a tractor, in the best possible way.
Oh, it's Chris. Oh, I wasn't even looking. It's Chris. All right.
That was good. Yeah, good. That's amazing.
How was that with the pillion?
That was incredible. I can't believe how steady these bikes are. Even my own one at home. It's amazing.
Awesome, awesome. Ooh, okay. Here I am.
Now, we actually covered so many miles and so many types of road surfaces, which I will talk about in my full video. But while we're talking off-road riding, let's talk about a little moment I had, shall we? Now, it wasn't quite an off, but I definitely didn't stay on the path either. There were a few times during the trip where I felt the front end slip, but honestly, if you're riding on loose gravel, that's going to happen, and I wasn't the only one who had a few sketchy moments. But here's what happened to me. As usual, I was the last one to get packed up. While the rest of the group were catching their breath and having a quick chill, I was still busy snapping behind the scenes shots, trying to capture the vibe of the tour. So when it was time to move on, I was playing catch up. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Now, I wasn't going mad or pushing it too hard for the surface I was on, until that surface changed. Suddenly, I hit a patch of really loose aggregate stone, and honestly, it felt like riding on marbles. I tried to steer left, but the bike had other ideas, and the front end dug in and kept pulling me to the right. Before I knew it, I was off the path, with the back end of the bike practically hugging a tree. Thankfully, Chris, who always liked to ride at the back of the group, was right behind me and used his cool cucumber mind to calmly help pull the bike out.
Okay. A bit more. Can you get the front angled up onto the road? Hang on, don't struggle with it.
He even made a makeshift ramp to get me back on the path. What an absolute legend he was. So what's the moral of the story? Well, you tell me in the comments.
Gas it. Yeah, go on. Cheers, mate.
I'll be honest, it didn't rattle me too much, as it wasn't really a crash. But it definitely reminded me to respect the terrain. Some of the green lanes in Montenegro can be pretty unforgiving, which, let's face it, is all part of the fun. That little incident also made me appreciate how tough the Himalayan 450 actually is. The saddlebags were super useful and the crash bars gave me confidence. It's a bike that really feels built to take a few knocks. One of the other riders in our group even had a slow speed tumble, off-road going up a hill, and their bike was totally fine.
I lost my front wheel.
No harm done, but it was a reminder to keep it sensible even at slow speeds. Like I said earlier, I'll be putting together another video or two to share the full adventure. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out. As this is a review of the Himalayan 450, here's a few of my likes and dislikes. And remember, I'm not a spec and numbers kind of guy. I prefer to tell you how a bike feels to ride, but to start, here's a few key specs about the bike, as I know some of you like to know these things. The seat height is 825mm for the standard seat, which can be adjusted to 845mm. An optional low seat is also available, which sits at 805mm and is adjustable to 825mm. It is now a 6-speed box, compared to the older Himalayan 411 model, which was a 5-speed. The only issue I had was on 2 or 3 occasions the TFT said I was in neutral, but as I let the clutch out it was apparent I was still in gear. The TFT dash is neat and clear, and although I didn't get round to fiddling with the rider modes, I left it as Wild Sharpas set it up and it worked just fine. The 4 rider modes are Performance with ABS on, Performance with ABS to the rear wheel off, and Eco mode with ABS on and Eco mode with ABS to the rear wheel off. Fuel economy is amazing. After 4 days riding, the fuel gauge barely moved. At one point I thought it was broken. The saddlebags and crash bars made the bike feel really tough and ready for anything. The handling and turning circle was spot on for the tight twist we found ourselves on. The suspension handled the rough terrain really well, fully adjustable too, with 200mm of travel front and rear. The riding position was great for me, and I'm 5 foot 10.5 inches or 179cm. Though standing up on the pegs felt a little awkward. I think I was just a touch too tall, but it was perfect for Jodie, who is 5'7", 170cm. The USB-C port was handy for charging gear like my Pano X 360 camera and the power bank. The angle of the side stand made it a bit of a heave to get the bike upright, especially when I was loaded up. But as Jodie said, don't moan about it, just get on with it. The front brake isn't adjustable, although it didn't really need to be. I was lacking confidence with the front end, to be honest. Even though the tyres had been changed from stock, I still felt it could be improved. But riding on loose surfaces is never easy, and overall the bike did an amazing job across all the various surfaces we rode. Jodie thought the light could have been a little brighter when riding in the dark, but again, that could easily be addressed. So what do I think of the Himalayan 450 as a credible adventure bike? Honestly, I warmed to it straight away. and I've missed riding it since I got home. It's a solid, confidence-inspiring bike that's fun to ride, capable off-road and genuinely affordable for what you get. I could definitely see myself owning one, and I know Jodie would love one too.
This is steep, this is really steep.
How much? Well, Royal Enfield's list price is between £5,750 to £6,250, depending on what spec, colour and accessories you choose. It's not a motorway cruiser, but that's not what it's built for. The clue is in the name, Himalayan. If you're into twisty roads, off the beaten track adventures and exploring without breaking the bank, then the Himalayan 450 is absolutely worth a look. It might not be the fastest, flashiest or fanciest, but it does the job, and it does it well. And if you're interested in test riding one, you could book a demo ride around your local block or through Cooperb Motorcycles. Or how about book a trip with Wild Sharpas Motorcycle Tours and really find out for yourself what the Himalayan 450 is capable of. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like. Drop me a comment below, especially if you have a Himalayan and would like to share your experiences. And don't forget to subscribe. I've got loads more content from this trip coming up soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video very soon. Subscribe, like and comment.